Xenomorph XX-121 is a name that does manage to send shivers down the spine in the sci-fi world. Since its debut in Alien back in '79, this creature has become the stuff of nightmares and has evolved through the movies, books, comics, and even toys. They're a threat to every species around and they bring extinction as their +1. But don't lose hope yet. Despite being dubbed the perfect organism, these aliens have chinks in their armor. In this video, we're diving into the weaknesses of these formidable beings. So yeah, if you bump into one, you might just have a fighting chance. Let's begin, shall we?
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
The Xenomorphs' Hive Mind serves as both strength and weakness. It's quite well known that the Xenomorphs share a hive mind. Now that definitely serves as an advantage in more ways than one. Since they're all synced up, they move and attack in perfect harmony. If one Xenodrone spots you, take it for a fact that the others in the hive would also be after you unless they are occupied by other duties as directed by the Queen. So basically, if you mess with one, the rest feel it. That can make them either super careful or go totally berserk. And it is because they go all berserk and stuff that they can be easier to kill. I mean, you can actually use their hive mind against them to draw them into a kill zone. Additionally, the Queen, she's the boss lady. She's super protective of her little aliens. So if you corner her or threaten her babies, she might just play ball to keep them safe. So yeah, her motherly nature and her primal instinct of spreading the xenomorph population may let others get the better of her, just like Ripley once did. But that's not all, so the Queen basically guides and dictates every member of the hive. She tells them exactly what role they are to perform, so if you take out the Queen, the whole hive goes into a tailspin and into a state of absolute anarchy. They're left scrambling until a new, less experienced Queen steps up. And that's your golden window right there. Targeting xenomorphs in their vulnerable youth. When the xenos are just starting out as face huggers, they pop out of these eggs called ovomorphs. These eggs are where they're at their most vulnerable. They're all clustered together, which makes them an easy target. Of course, since ovomorphs are just big, ugly eggs, they are immobile too. And when they're just tiny face huggers or chest bursters, they're agile but fragile, with skin that's easy to tear through. The face huggers try to find someone's face to latch onto, which gives them a singular purpose. What I mean is that they often do not care about their own sustenance after they find a possible host. It seems that they're not too high on stealth tactics. But chest bursters are different. Once a chest burster does its thing, it simply bolts and hides. Now, when it comes to dealing with these eggs, fire is your best friend, but don't just go chucking Molotovs around. You might end up roasting yourself with splash damage. The flamethrower is the way to go, even though its ammo is like gold dust. Better yet, if you can, just steer clear of those eggs completely. Additionally, a shotgun will also do the trick for taking out the ovomorphs. Bullet Barricade. Lack of bulletproof defense. Xenomorphs might look tough with their armor-like exoskeletons, but they aren't immune to bullets. If you're a sniper, you can totally take them down, though you might need a few extra rounds for the bigger guys. The heavier the ammo, like the 10x24mm from a pulse rifle, the better your chances of piercing through that hard shell. Now, about packing heat against these aliens. A pistol can do the job up close and personal. Think right up to the head, just like Vasquez did. But for a real punch, I'd go for the Barrett M240 LWS, loaded up with a mix of tracer, M993 armor piercing, and M80 ball ammo, and you're good to go. In a tight spot, a 12-gauge shotgun with some fancy rounds like grenades or armor piercing ones could be a lifesaver. And if we're talking big guns, like on a vehicle, I'd want the biggest, baddest weapons out there. A 25mm cannon or tow missiles would be sweet. Although ammo's a bit on the scarce side, for extra firepower, having someone with a 40mm grenade launcher would be epic. Breeding bait. Turning Xenomorphs' biological drive into a tactical weakness. Xenomorphs are all about breeding, and this can be their Achilles heel. You can totally play them by tapping into their need to reproduce. You can bait them into a trap by using their urge to breed against them, like an Alien's Berserker, where they used the Point Man as bait to lead the Xenos to their hatching spot. The dude had this special mask that bought some time against facehuggers, giving his team a shot at a rescue. Now, Xenomorphs aren't into eating their catches. They're more about snatching folks for their alien baby-making business. They cocoon their prey, park an egg nearby, and wait for the facehugger to pop out. But hey, that gives you a chance to break free or pull off a daring rescue. Take Ellen Ripley in Aliens, the ultimate xenomorph nemesis. She kept her cool and managed to save Newt. She got close enough to hear Newt's shouts and wasted the facehugger before it could lash on. Burning bait, xenomorphs' weakness to fire. Xenomorphs really don't like fire. Their exoskeleton is like a pressure cooker with all that acid blood inside, and heat makes it go boom. Small fires make the adult xenos back off for a bit, but apart from scaring them, fire is also great for making barriers to slow them down or trap them, buying you some precious time. When it comes to hurting these alien nightmares without getting a face full of acid blood, cranking up the heat is your best bet. The big bosses like Queens and Predaliens can take some heat, but your average warrior or drone, not so much. That's why flamethrowers are the MVP against xenomorphs. They're perfect for both taking them out and keeping them at bay. These creatures also can't handle sudden temperature changes. Remember in Alien 3 when the molten lead and cold water combo did the trick? It's because the rapid switch from hot to cold shattered its superheated exoskeleton, and then there's the icy vacuum of space, which serves as another weakness. And even though they don't seem to need air, since they're oddly drawn to spaceships, this little tidbit is crucial to remember. Xenomorphs, dependency, and hosts for adaptive prowess. Xenomorphs might seem like they're super strong and resilient, but they're far from invincible. An interesting detail about them is how they adapt based on whatever they hatch from. This means some are more cut out for certain places than others. Switching up your location can really mess with these too well-adapted creeps, so if you have a xenomorph that came from something speedy like a cheetah, it might not do so well in a maze of tight corners, or it could overheat if pushed too hard. On the flip side, Xenos born from massive creatures might find themselves stuck trying to squeeze into smaller spots. Playing on these quirks is key. It's likely what helped Newt dodge danger in Aliens. She stayed out of the big brute's way and used tight spaces to her advantage, staying one step ahead in her colony. The heightened danger posed by androids to xenomorphs. Xenomorphs have this weird thing where they often ignore androids. You could say that androids are just not on their radar, which can be a strong advantage. Androids can sometimes stroll around xenos without setting off any alien alarms, but it's not all smooth sailing. If a xeno does decide to attack, androids aren't exactly the best at fighting back. However, a slow-moving android could sneak right into the heart of a xenomorph hive carrying a bomb or some nerve gas. They might just slip past the xenomorph's guard. However, when it comes to combat androids, the Xenos might still throw a punch. They might not catch on as quickly or sniff them out like they do with humans, but they'll definitely fight back if they feel threatened. Consequences of excessive hybridization on xenomorph. Xenomorphs come in a crazy variety, which may feel like a wild alien buffet of hybrids and subspecies. Thanks to either some wacky genetic experiments or just nature doing its thing, these different types are often at each other's throats. This internal bickering can be a big plus for humans caught in the middle. Take for example the xenomorph king and newborn both duking it out with the alien queen. Then there's the epic civil war between black xenomorphs and red xenomorphs on their home planet, Xenomorph Prime. And then there's this cutscene from Alien Covenant where neomorphs would have fought with predomorphs. The thing with Xenos is that they're a wild card in many ways. Their love for a good fight is a sure bet, even if it's against their own kind. The drawbacks of restricted range offense. Xenomorphs are great at close quarters attacks, but from a distance, they don't perform so well. This is where they drop the ball, which makes them sitting ducks if you're packing some long-range firepower. Your regular Xenos' best bet for a long shot is its tail, but that only gives it a few meters of reach tops. There are some Xenos that can spit acid, stretching their attack range to around a dozen meters, but they hardly ever use it. So if you can keep your distance and have a weapon that can hit from afar, you've got a solid edge over these close-range bruisers. Brains behind the beast. Xenomorphs' lack of intelligence. Xenomorphs are kind of smart, but not exactly valedictorians. Big Corps had managed to keep them locked up for science stuff, but let's be real, it often goes sideways. Usually their great escape is thanks to some human slip-up. Be it cockiness or just plain old goofing up, these aliens are decent at solving problems on the fly. But only for immediate stuff like, how do I catch my lunch? So if you're quick-witted, you've got a shot at tricking them, maybe into a trap or a deadly game game of cat and mouse, and since they don't really care about each other, except with their queen or empress, a well-set trap can really cut down their numbers and give people a chance to bolt to safety. While Xenos are adaptable and pick up a few tricks from around them, they're mostly only into hunting, killing, and making more aliens. This predictability is what becomes their bane. The smartest of the lot is the alien queen, but she can't be everywhere, so her minions are often left to their own not-so-genius devices. Marvelous verdict. So yeah, Xenomorphs are both terrifying and beatable. They've got a bunch of strengths, sure, but their weaknesses are just as crucial. Whether it's their hive mind, their young, their sensitivity to fire, or their limited smarts, there's always a way to outplay these creatures. From outsmarting them with superior tactics to exploiting their biological nuances, surviving a Xenomorph encounter is mostly about using what you know about them, which you can use against them.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.